Welcome to the Cole and Dre podcast. I'm Cole.
And this is Dre. What up, world? We back.
We got Lloyd Ford in here with us today. And, of course, we got some off-camera things going on with Dre as usual. We got a variety of topics to talk about today. You know, first of all, Mr. Ford is running for District D here locally in Houston. For you guys that are outside, y'all know we're based in Houston. He has a beauty supply store, and I actually met you at Dieter and Dre's event.
Right.
And
Definitely.
we talked for, about 20, 30 minutes, and I said I wanted to get you on the show at that time. And so thank you, man. Welcome to the show, man.
Nah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me for both of y'all. I'm happy to be here.
All right. So let's start off with before we get to your District D race, we were talking about the black beauty supply stores and the beauty of the beauty products in the black community.
Right.
And how we don't control or own primarily any of these things, but yet and still we're the biggest supporter of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something that, I think we need to have a real conversation about. And so that's why we got you here. And I can't talk to you right now. So go ahead, man. Dre, what you think about that, man?
Watch your phone going off?
Nah. I mean, let me put my phones on vibrate. How about that? That's what I'm gonna do.
Phones. Hold on.
Yeah, put my phones on
We've been
vibrate.
doing this podcast by, we just got rid of the segment of the money phone segment, you know what I'm saying? He was good at it, then he just like he having a relapse right now, so
I'm gonna relapse.
we're gonna give him a pass.
We got some stuff going. That's all. Sometimes you got to keep the phones on. Podcast is for fun. The phones are for pay. So we got to make sure we keep the pay part.
Nice little ratio.
Keep the pay part available. As a matter of fact, we're going to turn this over so we can see if it rings while it's vibrating. If something happens to happen during the show, I may. What is that? Let me get a PSA or something if one of the phones ring, and I may need to take a phone call. Dre can handle this, and we'll continue the show. Thank you. Oh, so Mr. Ford. So you guys tell us a little bit about how did you get into the beauty and the black beauty stores? That's what
Right.
You guys were called, right?
Yeah.
And you guys, I know you were on
store.
Cullen, and you guys are moving now. But tell me about what was the origin? How did you and your man Randy come up with saying that this is what we want to do? Where did that come from?
Right. So, me being a big community person, everything that I do has to evolve and revolve around community issues of what we're doing. So, when I was thinking about getting started, I didn't know what business, I wanted to start. But I knew we had our group is called Creative Group Economics. So we wanted to just not talk it, but show it.
Right.
So our way of doing Creative Group Economics, we needed to start a business and use our community funds and all of us put together our money in order to create something greater. So just looking for an industry to do. Actually, my partner Randy, he just invited me some at his house, and he had about 4 or 5, beauty supply owners already there. And at this point in time, we never thought about starting a beauty supply store. We were just thinking about, I was just thinking about what type of businesses that we can start that play the community. I couldn't start no food because I don't know how to cook. I never worked in a restaurant, so I didn't know nothing about grease traps and all the stuff that plague, and I didn't want to deal with the health department. So thinking about that, we were like, what is another industry that's heavily exploited, in the black community? And that was the beauty hair care space. And by him inviting me to that meeting, it just kind of woke me up. I didn't know anything about beauty supply, anything. I just know business, formations, partnerships. And so when we presented it to Randy, he's rattling off all these ideas. And I'm like, yeah, we partners. And it was kind of, it was there from then. So, he took a lot of time and he dabbled and know all of the inventory and stuff, ins and outs. So, and my role was pretty much finding out how can we keep this business going, how much money we need to raise. And so we raised $100,000 just using a PowerPoint. And so we've, found creative ways to raise revenue outside of credit, outside of collateral. Because we just couldn't use it. We couldn't go those avenues. So we had to be a little bit more creative with how we raise funds.
That's dope. Okay.
So
Super dope.
So when did you guys? How long was it from talking about it to inception of actually implementing?
So man, we talked about it probably like early, maybe like mid to 2019.
Okay.
And before you know it, we end up having. I told somebody this was the faith that we had. We only had like $10,000, and we found a building which would happen to be like the 5th choice because, circumstances. People don't want something called a black store, on their street in their building, whatever the circumstances were. So we found a building. We only had $10,000. We gave 6 to get the keys, and then it was off to the races on how can we bring this business and make it a business. So we had community build-out days where people from the community came and helped us knock down the walls, tear out, take stuff out for weeks. So we just appreciate everybody for all the work that they did towards that because they see the work that we were doing.
Oh, that's super dope.
Yeah, that's super,
But
super
my question
dope.
is, like, you know what I'm saying, like, how do you start a beauty supply store, man? Do you like go to China, go to Korea, get the products, and come back with them? How do you do that? You make them all like how does that happen? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's dope.
To be honest, we didn't really have a clue at first. Like, I really, Randy did all the research on where we need to go, how we need to start the accounts, who we need to go to. So he really did a lot of the work on who we sourced at. We were even talking to other black beauty supply stores. So shout out to everybody that gave us a lot of information. So they were big resources. We didn't get a chance to work with them, but they did give us a lot of information on where we need to go about the hair. And so they was very upfront about that. So,
Okay.
you know.
That's a beautiful thing, man. Blacks working together, man. People working together in general.
For sure.
To get something done, man. That's super dope, man. But like I said, back like hair is a big industry. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of these women outside, they have their wigs, they do wops. Like, what is that process like of picking certain hair? Like, what is that like? Like, you know what I'm saying? How does that work? Like, you know what I mean? Like, give us something. Some of the people that want to know. Because I don't know.
Man, look,
I know it's a big business. I be seeing dudes breaking in stores, stealing hair. I'm like, why would they do that? Like, you know what I'm saying? But then
some money with it.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? So
Look,
I'm just curious, like,
to be honest, we start dibbling dabbling. You got your different types of hair, your different levels. You got your bundles that your She's Happy Hair and other stores like that sell exclusively, where those are $200, $300, $400, $500 bundles. So you
my
really
wife
spend
went
a
to
lot of
She's
money.
Happy Hair and spent $1,600 one day.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And I told her, we taking this shit back right now.
I mean, because I've seen videos.
I was in the car and I was like, the shit, real shit, Dre. I was in the car and she said, "Give me your card." And I was like, "Here, no big deal. Just we at a hair store." They came out when they bought the ticket back. The sign that shit was $1,600. I'm like, "Man, just give them this shit back." She was like, "I'm gonna give you the money back," and I'm like, "What are you giving them $1,600 for?" I need to understand that.
Yeah.
And even to this day, I didn't understand it, but I did make her give me my money back.
I mean, but I've seen videos. I've seen videos where dudes go in these stores at gunpoint, like cold armed robberies, like talking about swiping shit. Like, let me get this.
Yeah.
But it's like they know what they're going in there for. I wouldn't have a clue.
I mean, it just depends on where you're going. Like you say, you thieving. I'm sure they did a little research on what makes money.
It looks
and what
like it
don't.
though. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I never understood, like, the fuck I'm gonna take some hair to and sell it. But I guess it's you say $500 hair. Jesus Christ.
Look,
Dre,
people
she
spend a lot
spent
of money.
$1,600.
Yeah.
And she said, "Well, she's buying this. This gonna last her for about 4 or 5 months." And I said, "Shit, well, that ain't long enough." Shit, I mean.
But you got some girls that keep these like that type of hair for years.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like my wife, I know she didn't have before. She didn't have hair for years. Like that she didn't have for 4 or 5 years.
Because she can wash it out. Right. That was one of the things she was explaining to me. You can wash it and color it in. She still will wash it, color it, use it, and then sell it.
Yeah.
So I guess it is not as bad as I'm making it seem. I just didn't understand the industry.
Yeah.
I didn't understand a $1,600 purchase for no hair by no means.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't understand the industry. Like I said, when I seen people running up in these places stealing, like, fuck you robbing hair for? But I guess I get it now.
You got hair for hundreds. You got hair that'll be around the $40 to $30 to $60 range, and then you got hair that'll be a little bit cheaper. So you got different ranges of hair that you can get, and mainly like you say, normal beauty supply stores, they really don't dib and dabble in the bundles. That's why you see other entrepreneurs and other ladies out here selling them and doing stuff like that, because that's their industry. But they stay a lot out of that space. Because again, they don't manufacture it, they don't control it, so they don't go into it. Like you say.
My daughter was real happy one time about 30 inches. I didn't know what that was, but I was thinking like you're a damn fool. She was telling me, it's 30 inches. That's how much it costs, and she told me, and I was like, yeah, you stupid. Yep, you're pretty dumb.
So my co-host was telling me he wanted to get one of them things, the dudes doing nowadays, man.
Oh,
to
you
get
want
your
some
shit
waves?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So-
I just like for a day or two. You
Yeah,
know what I
hook him
mean?
up,
Yeah,
man. Can we hook him
just
up?
put me some waves back and
come
put
on.
my hair
Get
in
you
for like
some
a day
little
or two.
shake, get your edge up.
Yeah, because I be seeing the shit now where motherfuckers doing the stuff like you got going on now. They just
Oh
put
yeah,
it on the top.
but
and, you know,
this
yeah.
mine though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
you know what I'm
That was
saying?
his way, really. You got to know Dre.
Yeah,
that was
his
his
way of
subtle
trying to
way
say that.
to try to see was your shit real or not.
My
Like,
shit is real.
that was his subtle way.
Pure brand,
Randy, you
yo.
got to know Dre. Dre like real
Yo,
low key.
this
I
me.
just,
Slick,
Oh,
man.
just seen one of that dude kind of had his shit on.
See,
and
that's why
slapped
he.
that motherfucker. I'm like,
Nah,
whoa.
you can pull and tug. This all me, my brother.
They
This
was
all
swimming
me.
with it though, so I don't know.
Nah, dudes is doing
Right.
beards. I
Shit.
seen a dude do a full beard and that.
Yeah,
Like
Straight
blew me
like
away.
yeah. You look.
Straight like that.
It's from Fugazi. It's out there
Straight
right
like
now.
What do you think about? What do you think about that, Dre?
I mean, shit, I beats the fuck out of me. I didn't accept it. I'm bald. I mean, that's what it is.
Would you do it?
Nah, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing
What about if Dre is an actor now? He got the bricks, Be Someone. What other
Whoa.
movies you got?
I got beat someone the bricks. I just did Berlin 47. I could be wrong with them. It was Berlin something 41, 47, something like
Yeah.
that. What else I was in? I just did Only a Few Fans with Jamal.
Only a few fans.
Yeah, and we got both.
I
eyes
thought it was
open.
OnlyFans.
I think he changed his name to Only a Few Fans.
Oh, okay. Only a
Yeah.
few fans.
Yeah, because
Okay.
he couldn't use OnlyFans, so I think he named it Only a Few Fans.
Right. So, but
It's real.
would you do it for like a character?
Probably not.
Why not?
Man,
I
It's
mean,
a
nothing
if it,
character.
was, if it was a Marvel hero, yeah, I would do that for that. You know what I'm saying? If I was playing the Black Panther or somebody, I would do that. But
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
You just playing somebody that got a fro. That's
Well,
all.
I'm just saying, because I mean, Tubi, you know what I'm saying? They got, I need a check for that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just me.
So you need it. You know what? I'm not going to even go there.
Yeah, yep,
So
I do.
so let's go back to, because I know you and I were having a conversation and you were talking about when you and Randy were talking, and I don't know if it was the initial meeting or at a meeting, and you were saying to some of the black business owners, why don't we consolidate our power so we have more buying power,
Right.
so we can compete against some of the Koreans and people that actually control the industry for black women,
Right.
which we don't have a real voice at the table. And you were met with some differences there.
Fear.
Mm.
We was met with a lot of fear, and a lot of people always wonder, like, we really had to explain to a couple of that everything that we used to say, they'll be like, oh, they not gonna let you do this and not gonna let you do this, and what about this? And I have to really stop them and say, look, I don't operate on what people gonna let me do, and they really was just kind of brought back. But a lot of people just, what if they come in there and see the hair on your shelves and wonder how you got it? Like, who cares? We
What you
worried
mean
about
by
a lot
that,
of
though? Like,
fictitious
see the
stuff.
hair on it. You said, what do
So
you mean by
let's
that?
just say you're a black business and we can't get the account, but you have it. Now you allow us to buy some stuff from you since we don't have it and we don't have the account. Now we take it and we put it on our shelves. They were worried about Asian people coming to our stores and inspecting how did we get certain products, which is not a thing. Like they people not coming in our stores and looking at barcodes and like, hey, this barcode came from such and such beauty supply store. Like,
Damn,
it's
is it
not-
really that serious, though?
It's not.
Okay.
But they feel like it is.
I think in a sense it may be, and let me tell you why. Because if we break down how the Asians have cornered the market, and to me, I think it's genius. We're in a capitalistic society, so I'm a capitalist, and if they can do it and stick together, so Ling Ling has a shop here, and One Fu has his right here.
Ling Ling and one food. Uh-oh.
Hey man, that ain't racist or nothing. Okay, Lee and Ling Ling. Okay, God damn, I don't know why I said Wong Fu shit. Man, come on, see y'all. We having an intelligent conversation, Drake. So Lee and Ling Ling.
But
So-
Ling Ling and one food sounded better, though. Let's go with Ling Ling and one food.
Okay, Ling Ling and One Fu. Okay,
It's funny.
so explain to our audience, to our viewers, like how they control these accounts, because if you're in a certain proximity, you can't get an account. So what they figured out is genius to me is to say, hey, Ling Ling is going to be here, and then One Fu is going to be here, and then
Give me
Queen
one more.
Pei is going to be here, and Ding Dong is going to be here, so. I'm being funny, but I'm not like.
Nah, I feel you.
So,
You're right. But that's how a lot of times that's how it's done. But one thing we
Explain
don't-
that though. Explain how the accounts work.
So the accounts basically work. That's why you don't see black beauty supply stores in black neighborhoods, because once an Asian one is there, depending on the proximity that you are to it, they won't let you start an account because they'll say you're too close to one of our VIP customers, which usually is an Asian or Korean or such and such.
Okay.
So that's how they control and they claim it by, again, this is capitalist, system that we in. Of course, you can refuse to do business with anybody. So, they just use the bias of proximity to not dilute the market.
So I need, I think you did somewhat of a good job of explaining that, but I need you to give the viewers, and I need you to speak like you and I were speaking, to basically break down what's the proximity. Let's just use Cullen for example, where your store was at. Now you guys are moved, but let's use Cullen because there are like 7 or 8 beauty supply shops on Cullen within a 2-mile radius.
Yeah, we basically just on Cullen, we was around like 4 or 5 other beauty supply stores. They were literally across the street from each other and less than a mile from us.
Yeah, where the Fiesta is at, it's one right there. It's 2 across the street, then it's another one right there. I can't even think of where. Mm-hmm. But I mean, with less than a mile, you probably got 5.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, damn. And they've been there a while. So one thing I know about anything that's been there a while, you're not going to stay. Like I tell people about ads that's running. If you consistently see an ad, they're making some money, because if not, they would have pulled their ads.
Oh, for sure.
So if you consistently see the doors open to a store, they're making money. So what I'm asking you, and I hope I'm asking this correctly, I'd like to think I am, explain to me the process when you've got 3 or 4 of them right there, mm-hmm. and now you come in as the black store, and they're saying, well, you can't get a net 30, a net 60, a net 90 account because we have these customers within this proximity. Right. Is that why you're saying this is why they open them up like that?
Yes and no, and because they all do numbers. They all do shared buying, with themselves. So they all would break their own stuff up and use one account and get like $100,000 worth of stuff, and then break it up between 3 or 4 stores. So even when it comes to us, I'm sure they strategically put their stuffs in inundated areas that they know black people are, knowing that no other black businesses will be able to move in the neighborhood and get an account at these larger stuff. Your sensationals, your mainly a lot of the crochet and the braiding hair and all the stuff that our people use every day. The wigs, so on and so forth. So when they go through a lot of the stylists, because they produce the styles and what brands to use. So when we can't get accounts for some of these, or they try to make the threshold high. One person, black-owned business, what they told them, hey, your first account, you have to spend at least $20,000, and we choose what you're going to have. Like, I'm not going to give nobody $20,000 and you get to choose. That's because you're going to choose what? And that's how that company ended up getting a lot of unnecessary and a lot of bootleg stuff that black people don't buy.
Oh, and you kind of stuck with the merchandise. So where is it, the product, where is it coming from? Are the Chinese controlling? Is it Chinese? I'm sorry. Is it Korean, or was it?
I mean, you got a little bit of both, I think.
Okay.
When it
so
comes
where is the hair coming from? Where is it manufactured? Can we go to the source and get it? Like, how does that work?
Even if you go, it's kind of funny. You can go to the source and get some hair, but when it comes to these certain brands and accounts, it only comes from these certain manufacturers. So they control, even though they may have a headquarters here in United States, it's not manufactured here. It just kind of dispersed here. But they have different agents that are in certain areas that come to your people or come to certain stuff. But again, they'll come and let you start an account as long as you're not too close to Asian one. And we give away about $500,000 a month in beauty supply hair care just on Cullen.
What do you mean by giveaway? What do you mean by that?
We're giving it to them. We're giving it to somebody else.
I got you.
This is what we're spending with their community.
Got you.
And damn, like I said, I'm a
that
capitalist.
number probably bigger than that, though.
Yeah, I think the number's probably bigger, but I think, and I believe in the capitalist society, so we have the opportunity to do exactly what they're doing, but we haven't done it. We've been conditioned to say they better. This is a problem. It's almost like we hate each other. Would you agree with that? Or what is if you guys presented a plan to other black business owners to say we can do the same thing, and you're met with fear and all this trepidation, why?
Yeah, I think it's everybody trying to carve out their own lane, but they don't want to allow anybody else in it. And that's one thing that we haven't. If there's any beauty supply store here in Houston and they don't work with us, it's their choice. It's not anybody or too many people that we haven't approached about trying to work with and form a larger partnership with. Not aside from throwing meetings for hairstylists, community members, other people that have a stake in what we do. So everybody we've reached out to and see how we can do further business with. It's not always successful, But we do reach out. But I think the biggest thing is just really getting capital for stuff like that. They'll give all the other races capital for this stuff, but it was hard for us to raise enough capital to be competitive in those industries. But if we did, black people would definitely buy from us. So we don't think that's not a factor.
It's
So you saying like you need more people to do business with y'all as far as raising capital? Like, group economics is something I think a lot of black people struggle with.
for sure.
Like, I mean, I don't understand why that is, but I think a lot of other people get it right when it comes to group economics.
Right.
And I think, like you said, I think most of it's based on fear of the unknown, a lot of us aren't familiar with how business works, and we want to put 20,000 in, but we want 100 back the next day.
For sure.
And I think that's why a lot of people of our ethnicity don't do group economics.
For sure.
That's part of the problem. We don't trust shit.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is even though, everything that we do in business, we try to be fully transparent in our numbers and what we do. I've even showed some of the things that we did and how we do it. But I think when it comes to people being fearful, I think not knowing the industry for one. A lot of people see what's hot right now, and that's real estate. So a lot of things flow with trendy areas. So I think if giving your money to beauty supply stores somehow became trendy, I think more people would do it. But I think, like you say, it's very the unknown when you're dealing with businesses.
But do you think enough people have the information about beauty supply stores and the profit margins about beauty supply stores?
Not at all.
That's what I think too. Because I would have never guessed that, because like I said, I was still baffled seeing dudes run up in a beauty supply store and taking hair. I was still baffled by that.
Right. No,
I think there is a situation with us as black people. We have been conditioned to believe we don't need each other. We can do it alone. And I give you a perfect example of where this idea was reinforced to me. Going to the feds, just going to jail. If you go on any yard, especially the higher up you get, obviously the higher up you get, you're going to have to stick together. But we're more divided than anybody.
Of course. Right.
And not only are we more divided, we're more isolated in the prison system, which is a microcosm of the actual society. And so what happens is you have a lot of guys, blacks have more loners in prison than anybody, right? Because most Mexicans are a part of a gang, most Asians are going to be a part of some gang. Most whites are going to be a part of, whether it be the dirty white boys, the ABs, or whatever you want to call it. Is some form of that they're part of a group.
For sure. Right.
But if you look at in the prison system itself, a lot of blacks are just loners, unless it becomes about race, which prison is pretty much race. But unless it becomes a race war, they're gonna be everybody's alone. I was alone. I ain't joining no damn gang. I ain't finna do that shit. But if Dre got a problem, I'm with him.
Right.
But that's a microcosm of our society, and this is how we are here. Let me figure out how I can do it and keep everything for myself, instead of saying, you know what, let me work with Brother Ford. Let me work with Dre. Let's see if we can combine our resources to make a bigger impact.
For sure.
Let me allow Dre to have his spot over in Acres Home. You have your spot on Cullen. I got 5th Ward, the East Side. Randy got wherever he's at. We have a problem with that for whatever reason, and I think and this is probably the 10th time I've spoken on this particular book I read, which is called Why Nations Fail, by these two economists, and I can't think of their name off the top of my head, but they spoke about how when a people are conquered, they will keep their mindset for 1,000 years. This is why the continent of Africa consistently goes through so many coups, because they have kept the mindset, even though it's the richest continent on the face of the earth, the mindset is not changed.
Right.
So we have to, try to change our mindset to work with each other.
For sure.
And I think there's no reason why we should be the biggest supporters of, and I have nothing against Asians, whites, black, or Hispanics, or anybody, but I think there's a problem when we become the biggest supporters of sending their kids to college and building churches and different things for them instead of ourselves. That's a problem.
For sure.
Oh, without question.
So,
because we're funding their lifestyles.
Right. And
with the crumbs that we do get, we're funding their lifestyles. Because like I said, we're at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to wealth.
But I mean, you gotta put it like this. We did a 5-mile radius of the store. We give away $1 billion a year. And we own about 19% of the businesses. And that constituted of hair salons, tax shops, barbershops. That was pretty much about it. We don't own the market share of no economics in our neighborhoods, and that's the reason why we even doing the city council thing.
Nor do we own infrastructure. Like we don't even go. So we don't even take those take interest in those kind of fields of infrastructure. And like infrastructure is so important to community, but we don't have a black bank for real. We have one, but we don't have many black banks. We have very few things that it takes. Black grocery stores, things that it takes that other people have in our neighborhoods. I've seen a Korean grocery store. I've seen a Mexican grocery store. I've seen all these things, and we don't have that.
I mean, I get it, and even though we, Black Bank, I have yet to see anybody to really work with them successfully.
Right.
And really, I don't see any real economic footprint that they have been able to enact yet.
Right.
And so that's the biggest thing. It don't matter if you got a black bank if you ain't making an economic footprint.
Absolutely,
it don't matter.
So, okay.
Well, we got issues though, like what I'm saying.
But
I think now as a people, conversations are being had, but we need to start taking action on these conversations. I think, versus 10, 15 years ago, like more people are talking about the importance of ownership, the importance of blacks coming together, the importance of black economics. Like the conversations are being, we having one now. Like the conversations are being had now versus 15 years ago, I wasn't on that myself. Like, I wasn't thinking about that. Like, I wasn't thinking about the importance of that because I just really didn't understand. I was like he said, I was out, man, how can I get rich? How can I,
for sure,
pick me and mines up? Like, you know what I'm saying?
But I feel like this, that's what it's going to take. It's going to take individuals like yourselves that have a little disposable income to not just invest in black businesses, but find different ones that have different stuff that want to put up things. Because that's what it's going to take. And I give you an example. One of our programs is we own our own credit card systems. We redirect the fees back towards the community. So all the different fees we pay for different websites, we build them too. We've been doing this for over 3 years. Mm-hmm. If we could just get black-owned businesses, I went to one black-owned business. I say, hey, we got your neighbor on it. We got this and on it. And we could, the more people we get on it, this is how we're going to direct the fees. You can come to the meetings. We'll show you what we're doing with the fees. His first thing was, they don't make no money, though. So his thing was already comparing himself between who make money and who don't make no money. Like, they are part of the program, but they don't make no money. So our mindsets, like you say, were wrong, but our fees going somewhere. Why wouldn't we want to control where it goes? Because we had somebody on there like a turkey leg cut. That's $15,000 we bring it back a month that could be going to so many other places, but now we just let it go to the obese because of ego or pride or whatever it is.
Yeah. It's kind of like, as you said, Dre, the conversations are being had, and I think everything starts with a conversation. Mm-hmm. So that's a good thing. It's kind of like, I look at a lot of dudes that's building houses right now, right? Especially in the inner city, and I know I can run circles around them. I have a problem building in Fifth Ward on something I know the people that are from Fifth Ward can't afford. I got a problem with this, so I've made a concerted effort to say I'm not going to do it because the people I know that's going to live there, they can't afford $300,000 homes. And when I'm going, like if you go to the turkey leg hut and you walk in any one of those side streets, you see a lot of white people walking their dog. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But the thing is, we're building for somebody else to run our own self out. So from that perspective, it's not something I want to participate in. And I think that's something that, we have to be mindful about. And instead of us saying what I tried to do with a group of guys is say, hey, how can we put affordable houses right here in Fifth Ward that are $150,000 that people here can buy? Right. Well, it ain't no real profit in that. Well, the profit is in the home ownership of increasing the home ownership in our community.
Right.
And it's funny that you say that, though. My fault, I didn't mean to cut you off. But it's funny that you say that because they are thinking about stuff that we're not thinking about. They started something called a land trust. And I tell everybody to go look it up. And they say we're going to build affordable houses. They'll allow you to buy this $150,000 house, pay it off, but you don't get to sell it for market value afterwards. These people have to sell it back to the land bank or land trust, and you get, I think, about 1% on whatever that you spend, which don't even pay for the taxes. And guess what is the contract? You know what the contract length on the land trust is?
What is that?
200 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, we dealing with a lot of, they're creating our
years. I just was letting you say it, but
yeah.
Maybe it's 200.
But I could be wrong. But either way, that's more than any of our lifetimes and what we're doing. So when we thinking about stuff, they're creating forever renters with our stuff. I know we want to create something good for our community, but again, either we gonna set the price, but it can't be things that they can't profit off of. Because then we just creating $150,000. They done paid it off. They done lived in it for 30 years or 40 years or whatever, but they don't receive any real benefit from it. You know, they don't get to go sell it and receive all the profits of what the current market value is.
Well, what I'm saying is this, and I'm trying to make sure we're on the same page. If I'm building a house that somebody that's from Fifth Ward can actually afford,
For sure.
somebody that's been renting, all of us know people that have lived in different inner cities for 30, 40, 50 years in the same house, and they don't own it.
For sure.
You know, so I think from that perspective, if we can say, okay, here's how you can own that for exactly what you've been paying in rent, those same people will stay. There's an older white guy in Shreveport. I'm not even put his name out because I like the guy. I don't think he did anything wrong. I think he's taking advantage of our mindset. And what he did is he said he's built communities, not just in Shreveport, but he specializes in the black communities. And what he said is, if you live in my house for 30 years, I give it to you. You know why he say that? Because if you will stay on housing for 30 years, I'm gonna give you the house, and you can pass the housing voucher down to your kids.
But that housing voucher probably been paid for about 10, 20 times in 30 years.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
it's gonna be paid on so far over.
I say, man, it's a cold game.
Yeah, of course.
And it's stuff like that
That's
when
real.
I see the business model, I'm saying, damn, I should do that.
Now that's genius though. That's genius though. I like that.
It is. I mean,
then they receive the market value or whatever they want to do with it after that. But they didn't pay you
30 years. But the problem with that is what you've done is condition. And it's not his goal. I don't think, from me talking to him, he looked at it as a business model. I looked at it as you have basically conditioned a generation, two generations to say we will not go above this. Because if we do, we lose this environment.
Right.
We lose food stamps. We lose welfare. We lose housing. We lose this crime-ridden neighborhood that we lose. We're not building that.
I guess I'm not thinking about it in the sense of the Section 8. I'm just thinking about it in the
because
sense
that
of
is the
buying a
problem.
No, that's what he's looking at in Section 8.
Yeah, that is the problem. Section 8
They
is
all
created.
Section 8.
Because the neighborhood I'm from, man, I've seen generation of people like, the mama, the daughter, the grand, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on. And, Jeezy said some years ago, my auntie on Section 8, but why ain't her credit straight? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just one of those things where it's like people are conditioned to stay in these environments with no sense of growth whatsoever.
Yeah, that is the bad thing.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a cold trap that he's setting.
For sure.
I mean, it's good for him if I can get somebody to rent my house for 30 years and get somebody else to pay the bulk of this rent.
All of them on housing. He don't take rent.
That's what I'm saying.
Section 8.
But it's a housing voucher. He's getting, get money every month. Yeah.
It ain't good to be on housing vouchers for 30 years anyway.
But like I said,
so what he's doing is trapping you.
Yeah, he's trapping you.
And that's not that wasn't his thing.
But
he saw this is our mindset.
It's a great business model for somebody to get business.
This is our mindset in the black community. These people will stay on. You got people that's been on welfare since the 50s, and their whole family has been on welfare since the 50s.
Since still making babies.
Then they say 95% of college graduates have a college graduate in their family. 95% of people that's been to prison have a prisoner in their family. Somebody else has been to prison.
Yeah.
So it's all about the mindset.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And I think that's unfortunate. So just speaking, this is why I wanted you to come on, because if we're speaking with what we're doing, this is the same mindset.
You're right.
That we have in our community about how we've been conditioned to accept the wrong things.
For sure.
This is a problem, man. So this is a problem in hair. It was a problem in music. Music is the one thing I think that I've seen we've tried to change some things around on, right? But even with that, now what they've done, we still don't have our own distribution company.
For sure.
Music. We've taken, as artists, the artists have taken control of their careers, but now we're still feeding billions of dollars into these distributors.
For sure.
That's a problem.
Nah, it's almost the same thing like you said with the hair. There's certain things that we don't do that a lot of hair companies are doing now, like buy now, pay later type of things. So like I'm not agreeing with even putting that type of energy out in the air where you can lease my hair. Like, nah, I'd rather give it to you free or you come work it off. I just don't want to perpetuate that. So there's certain things that, trust me, make perfect business sense, but make bad community sense. Right. And it just...
You financing hair, you probably don't need it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, come on, man. If you financing some hair,
man, I'm talking about $100.
You probably don't need
$25 a month.
So many sites now that
Like
where you can pay installments on a four payment quarterly payments on a
plane ticket,
anything now. Like, you know what I'm saying? But they're creating these traps for people that can't really afford some shit. Like, okay, I can afford this much, but you paying for it 2-3 times over.
And it's funny you say that because even I'm gonna show you how mine says. I used to work at AT&T back in the day, and I don't know if y'all remember. You used to could just go pay $200 for a 2-year agreement and get your phone. When they changed it to the monthly payments, oh man, white people and other people of other races, but they was in the uproar. Like they hated that, even though it was no interest. You just broke the phone down and you paid for it throughout your bill. Like they hated that. Black people, our first thing, as soon as a black person found out that all you have to do is pay the taxes and $50 for it, so I can get 2 phones and this is gonna be $100, and I was gonna pay $200. Oh yeah, people was adding lines on phones that they didn't need just to get the phone, and then be stuck with the line and the money that they gonna pay, even though they done sold the phone, and come back and complain and be like, why am I paying for this phone every month? I don't even have this phone. Like, man, you bought it, you still gotta pay for it. So just our mindsets between each other, and even when I went to North Dakota and played football, Gatorades, man, to sit up all day in the hotel in North Dakota. You get people, should I get one? Nah, I go. Soon as you go to Prairie View or black school, soon as they set them there, they all gone. Because we had a mentality like if we didn't get it now, we wouldn't go be there later.
It's free. Man, they got Gatorade. They only got water.
They were taking 2 or 3. Up there in North Dakota, they'll sit there all day. You may come back, come get one, but you knew it was going to be there. Man, with a school full of black individuals, I don't care if they was from the East Coast or West Coast, the mindset was the same of depravity of get it now.
How do we change that mindset?
That was my next question. How do we change that mindset? What do you see in your perfect world solution? Like, what can we do?
Opportunity. So that's the reason why we even doing this. It's 2 things that we look for. We don't think that politics is going to be the one solve anything that black people need. We looking for information and access. And so right now, me just being a regular business owner and community advocate, there's only so many things that I can offer big money people when it comes to resources and stuff in our community. Being a city councilman now, we got access to land, we got tax abatements, we got other bigger things that we can offer people for, instead of putting $50,000 towards that turkey drive, a toy drive you're gonna do, how about we all do this, and then this was gonna do, we can have a community conscious center that's half community, half city involvement. And I tell people the reason why we keep the city involved, because we want them to pay for it.
Absolutely.
So it's so many things that we can do, but we don't realize a lot of people that had these positions before us didn't have a lot of business acumen. So that's what we feel like we bring to the office.
So that's what you're gonna do when you get in office, brother?
Oh yeah, bro.
Let's hear your layout, man. What you gonna do when you get in office?
Hold on before we go.
Because I want to know, man.
Because I want to speak on that, Dre. We definitely gonna get to that. But I'm still on this hair situation because it's bothering me, man. It really is bothering me because we're funding these things.
Absolutely.
We can't say this is something that women are doing because there are so many men that are funding to make sure their wife, their girlfriend, their daughter, their sister, or just a broad.
Team Natural over here.
You know what I mean? You Team Natural.
Team
Natural.
Yeah.
You're not Team Natural. I'm not gonna go there. Boy, I almost said something. I'm not gonna.
Have you seen my daughters?
Yes, your daughters are natural, Drake.
Yes, they are. Team Natural over here.
But I've also seen something else.
You ever seen their mothers? Team Natural over here.
You know what?
I don't know if he convinced by that one.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I ain't gonna even do you. I'm not even finna go there with you, Drake. I ain't gonna go there with you. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't all Team Natural. Let's get that straight. And it's all that tough stuff you talk. You funded some unnatural hairstyles.
That's what you're wrong at. That's what I'm saying. That's why I say I'm Team Natural, because I've never funded no unnatural hair. So
you don't think so?
I'm positive.
Never paid a bill?
Never.
You don't think so?
Never.
Okay.
Not a one.
I don't believe you. You need more people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Check my track record.
You know what?
Check my track record.
Thank you for coming out to the thing the other night, Dre. I appreciate you.
We
had a 3,000 letters watch party, and Dre was there. And thank you, Dre. I appreciate you coming out. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Shout out to everybody that was there too.
Shout out to everybody that was there. They wasn't all natural. I say that much, but
I didn't fund it either.
All good. Hey man, I'm not saying you funded anything. I'm just saying
you just dibble dabble and participated in it a little bit. That's all.
Yeah.
So a lot of times we don't know. We'll say we're not funding certain things, but we don't.
Oh, I know where that one funded.
You know.
Facts.
Okay. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna go any. I'm not gonna do that because see, let me tell y'all what's gonna happen. See, if I really break this down on air, he'll with the cameras are cut off and the mics are shut down. Why you do that, man? Why you do that, man?
Because he be dying to get me on air, but I'm
not gonna do it.
You be dying
I'm not gonna do it. I've made a vow to make sure I protect. I know I got a ring on, you don't. Okay, I've made a vow to protect my co-host over here. And when he's doing this, I'm ashamed of him, right?
Why?
And let me tell you why I'm ashamed of him, because this is the reason why our black community is really broken down because of guys like Dre, who I love very much, because he's doing this, right? He doing this. And when you don't have that family bond in the home, when you don't have that father in the home, and we're not there, that is a problem. So I'm happy to do this.
I agree with you.
I'm happy to do this because I understand the power of family.
I agree
now,
with you. I agree
I've been in Dre's situation where I love to have 10 of them too. But you know what I'm saying? I understand the power of us being at home and nurturing our families. You know, it creates a better environment for our community.
I absolutely agree.
So some of the things that we're speaking on right now are a real breakdown because of a lack of family and the man in the home. So now, and I'm not going to, you know what I'm saying? It's not to say, because I think Dre does a great job of taking care of his kids. I don't even mess with dudes, man. If you can't take care of your kids, man, I don't like you.
That's facts.
Like real, I really don't. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta applaud Dre on that. He's gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? So, but I think that's a big problem. For sure. But that's a whole nother topic.
That's a problem in the black community. Agreed. I definitely believe that you should be at home with them babies. I definitely agree to that, or at least be involved. Like if you not, because some people are just not even involved, letting their babies run wild. So you know what I'm saying? I think that is a big issue in the black community.
For sure.
So
but
if
I
you
ain't got 10 of them though. So
hey man, I was making an example, man. See, I didn't say that. We guilty people always tend to try to, defend their guilt.
I had to throw disclaimer.
Man, listen, me and you having a conversation, and we talking to Brother Ford here. This is not. We have a whole guest here. Now this means we're not gonna do that.
Brother
Ford, do you understand what's being said?
Have you tuned in to us before?
Yeah.
Okay, you know what it is. See, he family.
I'm just watching. You know, I'm
family.
gonna stay out of it.
So let's
being in it. I ain't in it.
So tell us now, Brother Ford. Dre, go ahead and present your question, because I went all the way off on why he's running for District B.
No, I heard him say some good things, so I'm just curious, like, are you one of those guys that going to talk about it, then you can obviously it's something totally different, you're going to, follow to the agenda that they already got,
I mean, the difference is about what we do is we already doing it. So I don't have to talk about what we going to do. Right. We've been doing it for years before we even decided to do any of this.
Okay.
So we've already been in the community, hands down, grassroots. So that's why when it comes to volunteers and stuff that we need for our community, we don't have to pay for canvassers and people to go out here and speak about what we're going to do, because they already know what we're doing, and we've been doing it for years. And guess what? Whether we win or lose, we still going to be doing it.
Absolutely.
So that's the difference between us. I don't have to go find people to fulfill different positions and different things of what we do, because we already been doing it. So everybody just continuing business as usual. So I think that's the difference between what we do and other politicians that have been in these areas. I say judge the politician not by what they did in office, what they did when they wasn't in office. So
you saying the person you run against ain't doing it? So you saying the person you run against ain't doing it?
I mean, look what they was doing before they was in office.
Okay.
Nothing. And look what people do while they in office, outside of taking pictures. So when we go at what we doing, I go about actions. We go about what we're doing. And I go through the district every day. So I know and I see the things that's not being done. So I don't have to talk about it. We see it every day.
Okay, you got a body of work already built before you get to this position, is what you're saying.
Oh, yeah.
So you basically, what you just did is shoot a slug at all the politicians and told the voters to look at their body of work before they got in office.
Oh, I agree.
They know what it is.
I think that should be something that we base it off of. I mean, because you weren't doing it before. What makes you think you're going to do it now?
For sure.
Before you get my vote.
I got friends that's running for office that won't come ask for my support, because they know accountability come with that. I don't care about whoever see it. Like, that's what we do. And they know you want my support, whether we friends or not. Accountability come with that. But guess what? I'm willing to accept it too. So I think when we talking about that, one of our goals that we talking about that we do, none of these city council that I ever heard of have a district-wide meeting once a month that people can actually go to. All the city council meetings are during the day, 2 o'clock. They're on the Tuesday, Friday on the 12 o'clock. Like ain't no real people going to stuff like that.
Facts.
So we gonna have a district wide meeting once a month for 4 years. So once we win, they will never win again.
So is that something you're doing right now?
Yeah, we already have a community meeting we've been having since 2017, every second Monday of the month.
How can people join that community meeting? Tell us where it's at. Tell us what time it is.
So we have it every second Monday of the month. You can look at Creative Group Economics. You can look at Lloyd4forchange.com. We had this last one at Shape, but for the past 3 years we had them at our store. But for these next ones, until our location opens in May, we're going to be at Shape Community Center on Live Oak, 3815, from 7 to 8. We start on time, we leave on time, and then we leave the rest for networking. And we've been doing it every day, every second Monday since 2017. We probably only missed 2 months during COVID time, and that's when it first started.
Well, I'll be there the next one in April, man. What day is next one in April? April.
Don't let me lie to you. What's the
It'll be like
second
that.
Monday?
Please make sure you let me know.
Yeah,
I've been lazy on a lot of
flyers
things. I need to
already
make
up.
Sure I get
Yeah,
in
I
there.
definitely want to be there for that. Because, I mean, like I said, I'm real big on community, man. Like I said, I mentor kids, man. I talk with them. I kick it with them. You know, I just want to give them understanding, like, man, you know, some of the stuff, the choices that we make in life that we don't have to do.
For sure.
Like, there are many, many options out there if you seek them.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I really want kids to get past sports and entertainment. We've been doing that for too long. Nothing wrong with that. But that's one of those things where a lot of y'all not going to make it just based on numbers.
But it's funny you say that because I just told this story earlier, and we asked a young dude when we help at Addicts Middle School and a lot of other places, and we talked to one young boy. We said, "What you want to do when you grow up?" He said, "You know, shit, I want to be a rapper."
Mm-hmm.
So we said, "Okay, what are some of the successful steps you think you need to take to be a rapper?" He said, "First, I need to go to jail. Then I need to get out."
gotta
You know,
be kidding me.
but
I
guess
mean, I
what? His
feel
case
you.
analysis.
Hold on, man.
Hold on.
No,
His
I
case
feel it,
analysis was like Lil Wayne went to jail, got out, signed a contract. Lil Baby went to jail, got out, signed a contract. So he had a case analysis. But you know, social media show you the beginning and the end. You know, it don't really show you the.
I mean, but honestly.
Hold on, man. Back up, man.
But hold on, let me say something before you
Go
say
ahead,
that.
Dre.
Honestly, that's a real thing because these kids are so hypnotized by, like you said, the beginning and the end.
Right.
And they don't really understand. Like I heard a 7-year-old kid tell me he's not scared of jail. And I'm like, why are you not scared of jail? And he's like, man, everybody go. I was like, wow, like, you know. But
Think about
that's
it.
the environment they see. Like I said, that Section 8 environment,
Yeah.
you see it. Because there's no fathers around. There's no example of what being a man look like.
Look, he planned on committing crime and he planned on getting caught already.
Yeah.
Wow.
April 10th is the second Monday.
Ooh, that's
Man,
you
that's
just
tough.
hit me for one. So
Like I said, man, when you boots on the ground, man, you hear some stuff, man, it make you. Some of the things I've heard makes it keeps me motivated to keep going, keep showing up. Because I think the number one thing for kids is keep showing up.
You think you know, but I told somebody I done got cussed out more times in the past 5 months in the middle school than I have my whole life.
Absolutely.
You know, so just
what are
dealing
you
with
getting
the
cussed
kids.
out about?
I mean, no, just the kids having, you know, they really. Like girls had a whole argument one time on who the loudest in the class. So they see social media and you know and all these wives and all this other stuff doing stuff, and they think that is a portrayal of how they need to act as a person, and they have no chill until they want something or need something. So like you have girls that have temper tantrums. I told one, hey man, you know, like
You teach?
chill. Yeah, I was just a helper. I asked the principal. I know the principal. I said, y'all need more men in schools. They gave me a little position. I go there from 8 to 4 during the days just to kind of help out. I did that for 6 months, and so I'm still there, still a whole employee at HISD. And that's how we got a lot of our interns come from over there. But guess what? Everybody don't get an opportunity. I give people little cards. And, you know, I went to each class, and they say, Mr. Ford, how can I get this? But, again, they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And so when they realize that they can get opportunity out of me and come work at the store, then I had 15 parents calling in the first day. So we realized that we use that as, so every day after that, Mr. Ford, how can I get a car? How can I get a car? Like, nah, your conduct ain't right. And not just in my class, but every class. So once we set their precedents, they were ready. Oh yeah, we did that. So we had the whole internship program. We had kids showing up, but again, I made it as an asset of your good behavior or your good grades, not just because you want to come do
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely. I love that, bro.
And we turn the parents into supporters. We turn them. They are voters. They're supporters. They volunteers for what we do now.
I love that. That's dope.
Why do you think we don't vote? You gave a number out earlier. Out of 100,000, 120,000 people,
124,000.
124,000 people, 3,900 people basically voted for somebody. That's 120,000 people that didn't turn out.
I mean, no, you got. out of
Well,
those
obviously, some of those are kids. Obviously,
no,
not.
no, it ain't. This is 124,000 registered
Eligible.
voters.
Oh, wow.
Registered voters. This
Okay.
it's 200,000 people in the whole district, but it's out of 124,000 registered voters, about 25,000 actually vote. So it's about 100,000 voters in the win.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why do you
It's
think
even
that
worse
difference
on the north side than District B.
Because I'm in District B myself. But do you think that people just don't understand the importance of voting? Or do you think people are like, oh, that shit don't matter? Because I hear a lot of that. Oh, that shit don't matter. I heard a lot of that with adults. I've heard celebrities say, it don't matter. I'm not voting.
Yeah.
Like I'm sitting this one out.
A lot of people just see they only want to vote for like their presidency or some national what they see. And they
Because
don't
that's what the
think
media process.
exactly.
Okay.
But you ain't voting for the people that affects the area right around you. And I give an example. People don't know. Your city council elects your TERS. The TERS is the people that use your business taxes to redevelop your neighborhood. The TERS out in Sunnyside, they selected it. They all are pastors, which ain't nothing wrong with pastors, but sometimes, they don't always have the community's best interests at heart. So when you come to this $2 million that they just got, they talking about building welcome to Sunnyside signs. Like, welcome to what? So, just a whole accountability of what we do with our money and funds, and these people aren't elected, they are selected.
Mm-hmm.
So rub them dick them down, getting to make the decisions.
Yeah.
So I got one more question. Like, not one more, so another question. Like, how do you feel about crime in the city and, like, as far as, like, we spend a lot of money on policing. We spend a lot of money on...
It's a joke.
Yeah, I agree, because they, with that one-shot thing they spent, like, almost $1 million on to hear gunshots in the area, whatever. I thought that was a joke, too. But I see everybody saying, hire more police, give more overtime. How do you feel about crime prevention and programs like grassroots programs like we do, like far as mentoring kids and trying to change the mind before the crime is being committed? Why money is not being spent on that? And if you were in office, like, what would be your stance on that?
For one, we had a hub at the store. We work with the Harris County Violence Intervention. We brought in rappers. We brought in people that went to the Wesley Squares, the jailhouse, and we dealt with these people and brought them to the store and got them all their stuff that they need. But then it goes back to politics. The people, they get their budget from the county. So now you got commissioners that actually protested the vote, didn't even vote for it because they said that was a form of defunding the police. So now that's how politics is important. These are people that had diversions, that been to jail, been in these situations, now getting money to not go to these situations and deal with the people that's directly. But they call that a way or a form of defunding the police. It's the form of defunding the police, and as far as their arrest, that's about it. But these are programs that now politics and people don't know. These are things, the reason why we pay attention to politics, not because it is but how our funds are allocated. Just like you said, we got 200,000 people in District D. We don't have drug users rampant, so-called, all this other stuff, but we don't have not one health facility or drug rehab in the whole District D. So it's a lot of gaps.
So here's the thing on that I think a lot of people don't realize when you talk about things that are earmarked, right? The number one line item in the United States is the Department of Defense, right? Do you know what number 2 is?
Department of Justice? I don't know.
The Department of Justice.
Okay.
It's number 2. So it's almost as if we're complicit in a lot of things. Like even when I look at drugs,
they still funding that war.
when I look at the war on drugs, right? This is something that I personally feel that could be cut off in a matter of 5 years. People may not like what I'm gonna say about it, but I believe if you legalize all of it, it is what it is at that point.
Sure.
Because now what you've done is you're not gonna have as many people getting incarcerated for it, one. So you bring down the arrests. You don't have as much violence because you don't have that violent aspect of it, too. You also don't have you cut off a lot of the Mexican side of it, as well as the Colombian side of the trafficking coming here back and forth. You cut that off, right? And in doing so, now the reason why, in my personal opinion, in some of my research, the reason I believe we won't do it is because,
regulate it.
Well, not so much they can't regulate it. We fund our own little secret things. The CIA funds these things, which is really documented if you go and take a look at it through drugs, and they've been doing it. So it's a situation where I think we're complicit with this. And also, this is the biggest thing on it. If Department of Defense is the number one line item, Department of Justice is number 2. If you put a real dent into that, what do you think you do to the economy on a whole?
Taking it down.
What do you
Less
think
jobs.
you do to the economy on a whole if you actually prevent all of these things?
Yeah.
How do you? I'm asking a question. What do you guys think that does to the economy?
It's gonna go down. You're gonna lose jobs for as a prison system. You're gonna lose jobs for as law enforcement. You'll lose jobs as far as a lot of stuff. That's why I tell people all the time, even when it comes to people hate, oh, we need to go clean oil and gas. But I'm like, you putting a lot of pipe people out of metal fabrication people out of the job. I don't think we think about it in the capitalistic sense.
Well, they've
how many people we
created
putting
a
out.
way to print money. Like he just said. I mean, with the new prisons, the prison system, the way they police to put people in prison, because you're not going to tell me they built all these prisons for what, I think in '95 it was only 48 federal prisons. Now there's over 100 and some federal prisons now, or whatever, facilities or whatever. But with that, you still had a outdated crack law that they finally trying to get right now. You have all these outdated laws that were put in place to basically make us a sacrificial lamb to fill these prisons up, because like I said, we make up most of the prison population.
Now, I'm about to say, think about it like this. We fund the prisons like we fund the schools. The more prisoners, the more students, the more money you get from the government. So if you think about it, we really funding our own oppression when it comes to the prison and industrial system. You know, so there's many people there and they not going down. So the more prisons get built, guess what? We got to have people to fill them. So,
Absolutely.
like you say, that's why another reason why I don't see them legalizing all these different drugs.
But let me. You said they can't regulate it. Sure, they can regulate it. The biggest.
Tax it,
The biggest. Well, you can tax it. You don't think an aspirin is a drug?
I mean,
You don't think Pfizer is a $1 trillion company?
But
talking
even
like crack,
but even then though,
What's the difference? You got somebody. Do you think
don't
methadone
put
and
it
some
in
of
the
these
bank,
drugs
they
that Pfizer has?
but this is the thing though. Pharmaceutical drugs now are probably one of the biggest, the biggest epidemics in the country right now.
Yeah.
Like these pills and these people using these different type of drugs now, because people done graduated from crack now. I think people on other drugs now. Like, you know what I'm
I
saying?
used to work for McKesson Specialty Health, and I know they used to send enough pills that can send to the city of Houston to small counties and small cities, you know. So that was a lot of the issues. But again, they just seen it as a sense of making money. They not thinking about it in the sense this small town using the same amount of pills as a Houston or Chicago or California.
And I don't know what pharmaceutical company was, but nobody went to jail. They paid an $8 billion fine.
That's it.
And that was it. Nobody went to jail.
Yeah.
But you got guys doing millions of years for crack and cocaine and weed. But they just made a pharmaceutical company pay $8 billion a fine, and that was it.
You still got people in jail for weed, and one
was that?
state away they making millions.
It was one of those big pharmaceutical companies. I'm not sure which one it was.
Look it up right quick, Lonnie, if you can.
But they paid $8 billion in a fine, and nobody went to jail. And I think that's ludicrous.
But here's the big part of that. If you paid $8 billion in a fine, how much did you make?
Oh, exactly. I mean, absolutely.
How much did you make?
Absolutely. But you got guys.
To pay $8 billion,
you got guys.
I would gladly pay it.
That ain't never seen $1 million doing a life sentence in prison behind drugs.
Billions of dollars.
But you got guys that ain't never seen $1 million doing a life sentence behind drugs. I just don't understand it. You can't make that make sense to me. You can't make that make sense to me.
It's political.
When you talk about jobs, because we want to wrap up, man, but because this is a conversation I will probably sit here for 3-4 hours on, right? When you talk about jobs, like you got Chat GPT right now, right? You familiar with it?
Chat GPT.
Chat GPT.
Okay. That's the AI?
The AI part.
Okay, yeah, I heard about that.
And what they're doing with AI, I tell you a hustle I had way back in the day, right? I had a whole little company set up for business plans. So hold on. Glasso's $3 billion settlement included the largest civil false claim act settlement on record, and Pfizer $2.3 billion settlement included a record-breaking $1.3 billion in criminal fines. List of largest pharmaceutical settlements: 2004, Pfizer $430 million, and it goes on and on. But
they just had one not too long ago. It was just recently.
Yeah.
So it said 2022.
Yeah, 2022. Yeah, just recently.
But let me go back to where I was going here. So one of the things that I'm really getting bothered about with this AI is I can't see how the government is going to be able to sustain this technology. And when I say that, it's I used to go on Fiverr. I had a whole website built. I had a whole system built, a back-end system built to, say I do websites, I do all of these things, and hell, I just outsourced it to Fiverr. And I did all right with it. I was making $4 or $5 grand a month pretty easily without doing any work.
For sure.
And I wasn't really participating in it. Now, I just wrote a business plan on ChatGPT in an hour. It literally wrote me a business plan. I sat there and when I say an hour, it took me 30 minutes to tell it what I wanted. 30 minutes later, bam, 15 pages, and I'm talking about this is perfect. I'm like, my God.
Somebody came in and demonstrated that for us. It was amazing.
What are we going to do? How are these kids going to, and then the flip side to that, these kids picking up this phone and you got somebody on Instagram every day telling them you're going to make $1 million with my product. Mm-hmm. And they believe it. So they're not looking at it from a standpoint of a job is seen as one of the most gruesome things you could possibly do.
For sure.
I got to work. Mm-hmm. Because it's like Instagram is like a casino to me. Social media is like a casino. Every time you walk into a casino, the bells are going off.
Ding, 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 ding.
Somewhere the bell's going off. 3 bells going off real loud, but 97% of the people in there done lost all the goddamn money.
Fucking right.
But boy, all you hear is them bells. I'm gonna be that bell winner, and you see they make it a point. Do you think it's not strategic? If you think I'm lying, go into a casino. The next time you go into a casino, every 3 rows somebody won. But now it's probably 30 machines on each one of those rows. So if we said in 5 rows, 150 people in there, and every 3 rows somebody won, do the math. It's not good. 90% of these people are losing. Mm-hmm. Do the math. But you keep walking. Oh, man, Dre over there. Oh, Dre cleaning. Ding, 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 ding. Dre on 29 down there. This guy on 1 right here winning. The other guy on 3 rows down on 14 winning. But, boy, you ain't looking at them people sitting there like, God damn. These last $2, I'm not going to lose. These last $2. Oh, yeah. They say Vegas the only place you can go in a Rolls Royce and leave and leave on the bus.
No, that's true. I believe it. I remember going there. I had a buddy. He went in there the first night. He lost everything he brought with him. I said, "Boy, you tough."
I'm a good gambler.
Man, I don't gamble. I got an Asian. I won't even call him a friend. I'm gonna call him a friend. Asian friend of mine, man. True story, man. I loaned this dude $15,000. This is no lie. The man was up $750,000 on Baccarat and got mad with me because I wanted my money back when I came down. He told me that's how you mess up a gambler. By the time we went to the club and came back, this man was broke. True story. Within 3 hours. 3.5, 4 hours. He had lost $750,000. Now I took my 15 back plus 10. I needed a little interest on mine because I was so proud of you to make this money this quick. But he say I was the reason why he lost $700,000+ because I interrupted him, and you should never do that to somebody gambling. Well, sound like I was smarter than him to me. Yeah, you was the damn. If I'd have let you keep playing, you'd have lost all my goddamn money.
Facts. Hey man, before we get out of here, man, I know you got a new location and all, but tell the people where we can find you, how we can vote for you, how we can support you, man. You know what I'm saying? Good all brother. Right.
So you can find us. You can always find me on Instagram. Ford Can't Lose. You can always go to Lloyd Ford for Change campaign. It's Lloyd Ford, the number 4 for change.com. My nonprofit, you want to find the monthly meetings, Creative Group Economics. Stuff is always going to be on that. You can go to the Instagram.org.com. You can find us anywhere. So our biggest thing is just getting people involved. The Black Store retail experience will be open here in April. So come check us out off Emancipation 4210. And hopefully we can see everybody there. Oh yeah, we also we'll be what we use if anybody thinking about running for office or want to get involved into that like political structure. Our stuff is called Paid Texas, Political Advocates for Independent Democracy. And we tell people come get in. Your skin is your ticket in.
Damn, I need to get in that too for sure. I ain't ready just yet, but I'm getting there because I need because I just really feel like, man, I have a vision for what community needs to look like, and I think that that vision is universal for communities across the country. So we need to make our voice and our issues heard.
Come on. Look,
we need to make them heard.
I think Dre will end up running for office. I'm going to vote for you, man. I'm looking forward to seeing you. I think you're going to end up in office. And I think one thing about Dre as well as you, you guys have a body of work before you get in office, so somebody can actually take a look back at that body of work and say, hey, this is what's been done. I want my body of work to be the fund, y'all. So, I don't want I need to go make the money so I can
I'm raising my constituents now, man.
We need that side. Look, That's the one support that we don't have somebody real for real to support that
That's
side.
being real shit. I'm on the other side, so I want y'all to fun. I want to fund y'all. But before we go, man, my son had a question, and I think I asked it. I just want to make sure I address it. He said, "What can we do?" What was your question? Explain your question. Well, you explain his question better, Randy.
Oh, no, I guess what he was asking is why do we purchase from Asians on a mass scale but don't support black retailers of black hair care products?
So we kind of asked that, but answer that question. So why do we say it again, Randy? Please say it loud.
Why do we support Asian beauty supply stores more than we support black beauty supply stores?
It is a lot more Indian beauty supplies too, though. When you really go into hoods, and there's more Indians that's running Arabs and everything, running beauty salons and stuff.
Because a lot of hair comes from India, though, right?
I mean, you got both. It depends on the hair that you're looking for.
Well, he says that they synthetically make it in Korea. So it's not actually hair. It's, what is it?
You got your little synthetic blends. They got synthetic blends with human hair, but y'all remember like India and stuff. You get more of your bundles and stuff like that, and the natural hairs. But from China and Asia and stuff like that, you get more of your synthetic blends and your braiding hairs, and it's more of bulk more than it is one-time purchase.
Man, here I am all this time thinking there's a bunch of bald-headed horses running around these foreign countries just out here naked with no hair on their tails. I'm out of line.
That's why I say it's a whole manufacturing side to it. They really
I'm out of line.
It ain't enough horses in the world.
Because the cap in the day, like, man, look, you got that horse hair in your head. That was the cap back in the day.
Yeah.
They ain't doing that no more.
It ain't enough horses in the world to supply ladies,
It's what?
black ladies with hair.
Genetically modified.
Oh, man, they making everything.
Yeah.
Boy, the game cold, boy. They cold. But support my boy, man.
For sure.
Hey man, it's been a great show, man. Thank you so
Pleasure.
much, man. Matter of
Thank
fact,
you.
we're gonna have to bring you back. When is your
When's
race?
the election? Yeah,
So the
when's
election, you got your early voting from October 24th to November 4th, and then you got the official voting day on November 7th of this year. Y'all
Okay,
check it
we
out.
got time to campaign then.
Oh yeah. I don't want to put
Don't
her name
even
out there
matter.
like
Yeah,
that.
we don't even
Nah,
know
I'm messing
yet.
with you.
No. Don't worry about it.
Got you.
Well,
But
tell us who not to vote for. How about that?
no, yeah.
No, man.
No. The only current person that's in the race right now is Miss Carolyn Shabazz.
Okay.
So that's the only person we know. Hopefully, she keeps a lot of people out the race because she's an incumbent and people don't like to run against incumbents. I hope people seeing the body of work of me that they gonna have to run against, and hopefully we keeping a lot of people out the race. But last time it was 13 people that ran for this seat.
So
Right now it's just me and her.
Okay, we was wrapping up, but what makes you want to run against this incumbent? I'm just curious now.
I mean, I tell people all the time, we got a different set of skills and wills. And sometimes when we talking about what we're trying to do for the community, I'm going to bring together a different set of skills. And sometimes you got to have a different will when you need to rub shoulders against people that's really not doing what we need for the community. So
for people that don't know, what does incumbent mean? What does that mean? That's for the people that don't know.
means incumbent means just the person that's already in office.
Okay.
That's currently holding the seat.
Okay.
That's an incumbent. So when you run against established people, sometimes they don't like to rub shoulders against. So you'll have a lot of people this year running for at-large seats because those are people that are kind of termed out. Which here in Houston you get 2 terms of 4 years. So after that, then you can't run anymore for that seat. So you have to move around. So now, since there's a lot of people that's going out of those seats, you have more people going towards those seats rather than run against somebody. So they just avoiding the conflict.
But a lot of it's name recognition too, right? Like
For sure.
Okay, got you.
I tell you what, boy, whoever you running against, they're gonna have a hard time because you putting in work early.
For sure.
You ready?
Yes, I'm about to say,
I appreciate that.
Lloyd Floyd can't lose, man.
Hey,
Man, the man can't lose. You got 10,000 Instagram followers saying you can't lose.
Come on.
That's the trick to it too. See,
Let's get it.
They ain't working this social media like you.
Nope.
Definitely not.
If they gonna beat us on there, they gonna spend a lot of money, or your feet gonna be hurting because we about to be on it.
Yeah.
Man, thank you so much for coming in. Dre, you got anything? Because this is really interesting topic.
Like I
This
said,
is
man,
right up your
I think
alley.
I've met your opponent, but like I said, I like you more now. So you know what I mean. So
Appreciate that.
I'm rocking with that.
Damn.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like that.
Man, that's pretty big. That's why
I'm like that.
This is why I mess with Dre. Did y'all
I
hear
like that.
that man know the opponent already? But this man been sold right here on Lloyd Ford, who can't lose. Ford can't lose. Yeah. And Dre said it publicly.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say, I ain't gonna say that publicly on you. Hey man, thank y'all so much for tuning to the Cole and Dre podcast. Thank you, my brother, for coming.
Appreciate
you, man.
Randy, we should have got you up here, which is his partner that's over there hiding in the cut. Now, Randy, before we go, Randy got the stuck-on hair that Dre was talking about. He was real, but real. Now, Randy got the receding hairline, so I'm just messing with you. Hey man. Thank y'all so much for tuning to the Cole and Dre podcast. I'm Cole.
And this is Dre, and we
out. Peace.
Tell Randy, it's always the bald ones.
Hey, Cole, boss Dre, two mother, watch your mouth. No cap, all facts like what you talking about. Boy, listen and pay attention to what we talking about. We can show you how to make 100,000 in the drop.